Hi, my name is Pete Barrell. I'm with Eastern University, and we're here with Harry Thomas, the founder of Creation Festival here in Pennsylvania 35 years ago.
This is the 35th festival in the East.
And Harry is one of our alums from our seminary, Palmer Theological Seminary at Eastern University, and we're just going to talk to him a little bit about his experience there and the subsequent impact that's had on his life and his ministry. So why don't you tell us a little bit about how all this got started and how Eastern helped that in your career and the
Sure.
impact that's had?
Well, I really desired to reach out to young people and always had that desire. But I went into secular employment for a while, and the Lord really spoke to me about going to seminary. And honestly, I didn't know a whole lot about all the variety of seminaries in the country, but I had always heard good things about Eastern, so now Palmer, and I enrolled, and there I really not only learned the Word and learned theology, and but I had this amazing professor, Dr. Anthony Campolo, that kept me on my toes all the time and encouraged me to do great exploits for the Lord. Really had me become part of my very first full-time pastorate in a little country church in New Jersey, which I loved, but I still had a burden for youth. And my burden for youth started to really come to the forefront. And I don't want to get too mystical on you, but I actually had this very quick vision of thousands of kids on a hillside. I mean, it was that quick. And I had no idea what that meant, but I thought maybe it meant something to do with mass media. So I launched a radio show, which CBS Network liked, and I picked up a lot of different stations, and I did a radio DJ thing, and then I started to bring in artists, and then one thing led to another. One night at my kitchen table, a friend of mine, Tim Landis, and I sat down with my wife, and I said, well, maybe the Lord's leading us to do a festival. And my wife said, how about something about creation? And so we launched the Creation Festival against many odds, but the Lord opened up the door, and I was standing on the stage at Creation 79, and I looked out and I said, aha, that's the vision. You know, seeing all these thousands of young people, and at that time it was much smaller, like 5,000 or so. But the Lord has blessed it. Now we're in our 35th, and Eastern's been an integral part of that in my heart and life, my training. As I mentioned, Dr. Campolo just urging me to move forward in the things of God. And, you know, you fall down, you get up, you keep moving forward. And so I thank God for Eastern. Not only that, but my wife finished her college degree at Eastern College. Mm-hmm. So we have that legacy too. She is a graduate of Eastern College, Eastern University now, of course. And so God has led us in a lot of different ways there.
That's a great story. What do you think's next for Creation?
Well, next, I'm thinking about this evening and getting through the weather.
Oh.
But honestly, God's opened up a lot of doors. We're now assisting in a festival in Minnesota called the Sunshine Festival, and we're part of that. We have one in Seattle, which is Creation Northwest, right at the foot of Mount Rainier, and then Come Alive International, which is the parent organization. We do some festivals overseas. Like this year we did Ghana, Africa, we did Sri Lanka. We have a school with 2,000 students in Ghana and a university, and we'll be going to Ethiopia this year. And, you know, we've done some things in Muslim countries. So whatever the Lord opens the door, we test it out and see if we're supposed to walk through it. And when we do, it's always a miracle.
So what have you seen in the change in the youth culture in the 35 years?
Wow, that's a big question. For one thing, I never thought I'd have to have security for worship service. But when I mean, crowd rush and that kind of, but I love it because the enthusiasm that I see in young people that way is a wonderful thing, and to hear them worshiping God at the Creation Festival. But I think young people want to do something with their life. They want to implement the things that they learned scripturally and put it to work, and not just think in terms of what can bless me, but what kind of blessing can I be to the rest of the world. So we want to challenge them that way. Maybe it starts with something as small as child sponsorship, but understanding justice, understanding what God calls us to do and be is very critical, and they need to be exposed to that. When I went to seminary at Eastern Palmer, I attended with he's now a very dear friend, Dr. John Adoro. He was just John Adoro at the time. He was from Ghana, West Africa. In 1983, he called me to let me know that he was starting a church and a school in Ghana, and I was pioneering a new church in Medford, New Jersey. And I said, well, we'll stand together between our church and Come Alive International festivals and everything. We'll see what we can do. Well, now we have almost 2,000 students and a university that's completed, and blessing a lot of kids in Africa, having a chance to get a really good education. The school does very well. So that all happened out of Eastern. I heard John needed some clothes. Arriving from Africa, I got him some stuff, and we became friends. And all the funding for the school, and it's a rather large campus, 4-story buildings and everything, have come through our ministry by God's grace. Yeah,
that's awesome. Great. Yeah. Thanks so much for your time again.
Yeah.
Have a great rest of the festival.
Thank you.